Rome had many types of governments. There was the Roman Kingdom, Republic, and the Empire. Today, I will be talking about the Roman Kingdom and how it worked. If you want to continue seeing more from me, like and subscribe, and comment down below. My goal is to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so I would appreciate it if you subscribed. I also have a second channel where I plan to play games, so make sure to check it out. Now on to the video. The Roman king would have an enormous amount of power. First, they ruled for life and held ultimate power. Second, they had complete power over legal cases and could create laws and appoint senators, though usually involving the Senate and other assemblies for political legitimacy. And third, they had the responsibility to maintain favor of the gods while leading the state's religion. Now that I have discussed the king's powers, let's now talk about the Senate. The Senate's powers will be very limited. Usually acting as advisors to the king, the Senate had no legal right to check the king's power, or even to create laws, as the king would have that right, though the king would involve the Senate. However, where the Senate lacked power during the king's reign, they would shine after his reign and during interregnum. The Senate would have enormous amount of power as they would select a new king. First, an interrex would be nominated by the Senate. The interrex would have the same powers as the king, but just for 5 days, meaning multiple interrexes could serve between the death of the king and the ascension of a new one. They would then nominate someone who would first be elected by the Comitia Curiata, which was an assembly for Roman citizens to vote for the candidate that was nominated by the interrex. If the assembly voted yes on the proposed candidate, the Senate would give the final approval to officially make the candidate king. The new king would go through some rituals to make sure that he was favored by the gods. And finally, a new king would ascend. Now, did it work? In the beginning, yes, but at the end, no. Firstly, Romulus would find Rome, so he didn't need to be selected. Numa Pompilius would be the first successful elective monarch, ultimately becoming the second king of Rome. This would continue until Tarquinius Priscus, who would actively campaign to become king. He would trick the sons of Ancus Marcius to go on a hunting trip to secure his position as king. He would later be assassinated, which would continue the breakdown of the elective monarchy, as Servius Tullius would be chosen as king without a popular vote and only by the Senate's vote. Finally, Tarquin the Proud would completely break the elective monarchy, as he would assassinate Servius Tullius and would not even have an election. Under Tarquin the Proud and his tyrannical rule, it would eventually lead to the overthrow of the monarchy and the establishment of the republic, which reveals the biggest issue with elective monarchies. Although elective monarchies can produce effective leaders without hereditary rule, just like the first 4 kings of Rome, it also can create hereditary rule, just like the final 3 kings of Rome, which would create violence with the families of former monarchs who would want to regain their former powers. Hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you want to continue seeing more from me, and comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.